I think context is always good so that you know where it comes from and why it is there. So first of all, the 50% rule is loosely connected to the floodplain. It is 100% connected to Florida state statute and the Florida Building Code. And then your local government here, the city council, has a play in that as well. So let's walk through what everybody's responsibility is. And I'm going to start with the state, since I'm the state. So inside of the Florida Building Code, which is Florida law, it states that if there's, you have a substantial damage and it is 50% or more, then you must comply with the new Florida Building Code. That is state law. It is a state requirement. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to do it. How is that 50% determined? 50% is inside of the National Flood Insurance, or I shouldn't say the National Flood Insurance, but it's inside of a floodplain administration at the federal level. Your local government is the one that determines how the 50% is determined. So loosely, and again, I do not know what the city council's requirements are and so on, but if you need to determine your 50%, it is the value of the structure itself. It is not the value of pools, pool cages, docks, sheds, fences. It is just the structure itself, the home structure which you live in itself. You go to the leadpa.com, the property appraiser's office, you take the amount of whatever the city has determined, whether that's fair market value, appraised value, whatever that value is that the city has determined, you put that as line number one. If there's any adjustments, say plus 10%, plus 20%, whatever that is, you add the 10, 20, whatever percent that the city council has determined. You add those two lines together, you then divide it by 50, or cut it in half, divide it by 2. That is the number. And let's say that on a 100,000 square foot house, there's no percentage waivers or anything like that. Half of 100,000 is 50,000. If you spend $50,000 and 1 penny, then you're now subject to Florida law and the Florida Building Code. All right. So I try to protect the gentleman to my left, my right, and the gentleman to my left, and let you know that they are not the ones that have determined the building code. The building code is Florida law. It came out of Hurricane Andrew, 1992. The very first individuals that were required to comply with it was then referred to as the Miami-Dade Building Code. That went into effect in the late 90s. I think it was either 96 or 98. And then for the state of Florida, it became Florida state law and went into effect in 2004. So that is a little bit of the history and the why behind the 50% rule. Next thing I want to talk about is the state's travel trailer program. The state's travel trailer program is going to look really, if you look at the travel trailer itself and you look at Bob's travel trailers from FEMA, there is no difference. They are the exact same trailer. But here's the big difference. The threshold for the state's program is really low. We can put lots of people into state travel trailers. If you go into FEMA's program, that threshold is much higher than ours. There's going to be people that are just not eligible for direct housing through FEMA for a number of reasons. I will not go into all those reasons. There's a laundry list. But long story short is our program is lower threshold. FEMA's program has a higher threshold. My program is 6 months, and FEMA's program is up to 18 months. And I say up to because in both programs, you have to do what is referred to as case management. You have to be working towards getting out of that trailer. But my program is only 6 months. So when we get you into a trailer with the state of Florida, then we're managing you back to your property within 6 months. Now, if you need a travel trailer, what do you do? I'm glad you asked. Here's what you do. You go to Ian Recovery. If you need a travel trailer, get your pen again and write the following. ianrecovery.fl.gov. That's ianrecovery.fl.gov. When you go to inrecovery.fl.gov, you're going to notice that there are basically 2 buckets that you can get into. Bucket number 1 is just housing. That's, you need a travel trailer. You're going to fill out that information for a travel trailer. On the other side, the second bucket is everything else. If you're in need of assistance for what we call muck and gut, in other words, you need somebody to come in and help you remove the mud and the sludge, and you know your house is livable, it's survivable, it's not going to be impacted by the 50% rule. You need somebody to come in and cut that sheetrock out, help you do mold remediation. The state of Florida will help you do that up to $10,000 per household. It's $5,000 for mold remediation and $5,000 for rough materials. Now, when I say rough materials, I want to again set the expectation for everyone, and this is the First Lady's program that she's doing with volunteer dollars. All of those donated dollars, this is what she's spending $25 million on. Volunteer organization will come into your house. They will take that stuff out to the roadside. They will do a mold remediation. They will dry out all of the studs, and they will come back in and rough in the sheetrock that was taken out. We will not trade out or give you money for white goods, supplies. In other words, washing machines, dryers, microwaves, appliances. That's not what this money is for. It is not for cabinetry. What we're going to do is we're going to come in there, take out all the mold and mildew, get that resolved, put the sheetrock back up. We will rough sand it, finish sand it, but painting it, wallpapering it, paneling it, whatever you want to do, that is on you. That is not what the money is for. So up to $5,000 for what we call a very temporary repair, rough repair, so that at least you can get the mold out of your house and you get back into it and you can actually live in it while you continue to repair your house. So that is all donated material. So that's donated material, donated funds, and donated personnel that will come in and do that program. So I talk about that program in detail for the following reason. That is a good match with the travel trailer program, because it will not take us 6 months to get that program done. So the thought process is apply for the trailer, apply for the muck and gut, get the muck and gut done while you're in the trailer, and then when we get that muck and gut done, you can move out of the trailer back into your home. So that's a really good marriage, if you will, on those 2 programs. Also in that other bucket, you can apply for rental assistance over and above what FEMA has done. You can apply for food assistance, clothing assistance, furniture assistance, anything that you might need. There is a way to go in there and apply for everything that you're going to need as you rebuild and start your recovery. So again, that is all a part of inrecovery.fl.gov. If you go to both of those websites, and I do not have those phone numbers in front of me right now, but I bet Bob does, because Bob's always got my back. The phone numbers for the websites, and I'll give you those right now. For Ian Debris Cleanup, it is 850, that is a Tallahassee number, that is 850-961-2002. Again, repeating, that's 850-961-2002. That call center is staffed 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. inrecovery.fl.gov. That phone number is 1-800-892-0948. That's 1-800-892-0948. So again, please make sure you're applying for debris assistance, debris cleanup assistance, and make sure you're applying for housing assistance as well, and then any other needs that you might have. We did have a really good question last night. I've got somebody's staircase in my backyard, and it's too heavy for me to get and take to the front. I need help. IanDebrisCleanup.com. Give us a right of entry, sign a right of entry, so that our contractors can go over there, pick that up, and take it to the right of way, or take it and dispose it completely. All right. Vehicles, vessels, title property, wet debris in your backyards. You got something there. Again, if it's a private canal, that's a little bit different situation. But if you look out your windows and you see wet debris, give us a call. Let us know where that's at. IanDebrisCleanup.com, and we will. That way we know it's there, and we will eventually get to it. In setting expectations, I think we're somewhere around 70% cleaned up on the island right now in general for right-of-way debris cleanup. I believe that's about the number, give or take. It fluctuates a little bit every day, but I want to set an expectation on waterway debris. All right, waterway debris takes a long time. You see these 100 cubic yard trucks going up and down your roads every day, where we have to get boats. They have to have a very shallow draft. We're talking about 12-inch, 18-inch draft to get into some of these areas. When you get to that type of situation, as most of you are probably boaters, you understand that's tidal influence. So they can't get in there unless it's tide high. And then number two, there's only so much debris that you can put onto a boat that has a 12-inch draft. So it's it's just a laborious process, okay? And it's going to take a long time. So I'm going to set the expectation we're probably going to be picking up wet debris for the next year. Yes, we're going to probably be picking up wet debris on the canals, in the mangroves, in the rivers, in the bays for the next year. It's just going to take a long, long time.